William Regal talk. I know you guys got
Yeah.
into it a little bit on Dynamite, but after you guys recorded, a lot of stuff came out, and then overnight, some more stuff came out. Mike Johnson from PW Insider stated that his sources are telling him that William Regal is in fact heading back to WWE. That I guess they said his contract is done in this month. Fightful then reached out to some talent within AEW and said they believe that's the case. Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live stated today that people in WWE believe that William Regal's coming back, and the reason why that is he says that this is not him saying it. He's saying that his sources are telling him that William Regal maybe is the key word. We don't have all the details, and we probably will never get them, but he might have had a clause in his contract that would allow him to get out of his deal to go back to WWE in some type of executive capacity should Triple H take back over. So that's what it's looking like. Looks like they wrote him off on Dynamite. Tell us your thoughts on all this and how this affects AEW.
So I have a theory. What happened is that Triple H, at the time that Regal got fired, Triple H was on the outs. He had just had his heart attack. He wasn't active with the company. Vince was kind of ticked off at him because he lost the Wednesday Night War to AEW, and he fired one of his best friends. Yeah. And I think Triple H probably called Regal right away and said, you know what, I am really sorry this happened. If I have anything to do with it, I'll bring you back the first chance I get. And, and they left it at that. A couple months later, Tony Khan calls and he says, hey, what are you doing? You interested in coming back? Regal's like, no, you know what? I'm good. I may go back to WWE at some point. I'm good right now. He's like, well, I got an idea. Pitches him the idea. And he says, I'd like you to come in and do this. And Regal's like, I'm really not really interested right now. Thank you for the offer. He's like, the only way I do it is if, we made an agreement that if the opportunity came up that I could go back, I would go back and you wouldn't hold me to whatever contract we signed. And Khan probably thought, you know what? He's not going back to WWE anytime soon. Vince McMahon is going to be running that company till he dies. Mm-hmm. Plus, everybody loves it here. CM Punk came here. He loved it. Daniel Bryan came here. He loved it. You're going to get here. You're going to love it too. So yeah, you know what? I'll agree to that, but we're not going to have to worry about it because you're going to love it. And then everything changed. And, and I'm sure, I'm not saying they treated him badly. I think they treated him very well. And he's done a great job there. But he has a loyalty to Triple H that goes back almost 30 years. And his son works there. And I think he probably really wants to go back. And I think Tony Khan, it seems to be a man of his word. And if they did have this agreement that he could go back if the opportunity arose, that he's going to let him go back and let him out of his contract. So it seemed like a write-off last night on Dynamite. And if that's the case, I mean, they Regal did a great job on the way out, put over MJF. He basically made himself look like a piece of shit in storyline, turned on his best friends and then gets stabbed in the back by the guy he aligned with. But they used it to build up Bryan Danielson as a heroic babyface. So I certainly expect Regal to be back. And I don't expect it to be on screen, but you never know. But yeah, I think it was a good run. I think it was some entertaining television over the last 6 months, or however long it's been, 9 months maybe. Best of luck to him, and we'll see where that goes for AEW. I mean, I think the way they left it, they don't really need him anymore. So
no, I thought they wrote him off well. I think there's some obvious plot holes in it, and I don't really need to get into all of that. But with Ring of Honor kind of coming back and Claudio seemingly going to be more focused on Ring of Honor because he's going for the championship, and they might get a TV show. Who knows how that's all going to work out. And now you got Jon Moxley going to be focused on Hangman for a little bit, and Bryan Danielson going to be focused on MJF. There's no real need for the Blackpool Combat Club. And honestly, Wheeler Yuta's a nice little wrestler. And I think they tried their best with that guy. And I think that he's going to probably do some good stuff in Ring of Honor, having professional wrestling matches, and not likely ever going to become a big star, unfortunately. And that's probably mean to say, and maybe a little bit stiff. That's just kind of way
that was Mike, everybody, not me. Yeah. I get a lot of hate for my takes on Wheeler Yuta, but
no, I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I think he's a good wrestler. I think he's a good technician. I just don't see him as kind of being a big star. Right?
And not everyone
I just don't see it in the guy. No.
Yeah, not everyone is. You can have he could be a Johnny Gargano. You
Yeah.
know, he
Yep.
probably doesn't even have the charisma of Johnny Gargano, but
No.
you know, he's maybe a better wrestler. So, you know, and yeah, and certainly if ROH gets a TV deal, he could be one of their, you know, signature stars.
Mhm.
Jay Lethal did pretty well for himself. I don't see a lot of difference between him and Jay Lethal.
I think
You
Jay
know, Jay
Lethal has
Lethal's
way
more
more charisma.
charismatic. Yeah,
Yeah.
more charisma, but you're just a better wrestler. So, you
Yes.
know, it's, you know, it's, I try to compare him to other guys, and
I compare him to Kyle O'Reilly because I never
Kyle
thought that
O'Reilly's a
Kyle
good one.
O'Reilly
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
He
Kyle.
never really. He was always a great technician,
Yeah.
had great matches. I just never found him to be an interesting person or an interesting character.
He's
I was
like,
just like, okay,
honestly, he's a smaller Claudio too, in a
yeah,
way, you know,
yep,
similar. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see. And but he's very young, so he could develop into
mhm,
that. I see a lot more in Garcia, honestly, but
yeah.
you know, I don't think he's going to be a, you know, main event world title star either, but probably a little bit more of an upside than Yuta.
Right. So yeah, but it looks like the Blackpool Combat Club, obviously they're done. They're all gonna kind of go
Mhm.
their separate ways. And, you know, and if you're William Regal, why do you go back to WWE? Well, he was there forever. He's got that close relationships there, his kids there. Plus, if they want him to be kind of like an NXT trainer type of guy,
Yep.
he doesn't have to be on the road every week, and he's
No.
probably still making pretty good money. So why wouldn't he go back?
He can scout. I think he likes doing that. He
Yeah.
can go, you know, go to the UK Indies. He can go to PWG, do all that stuff he was doing before.
Mhm.
If that's what he wants to do. I'm sure Triple H would be like, dude, you got a job, you get a check, you decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
it's cool. I like him being back in this company. So and I liked his run in AEW. I don't think there's any downside to any of this stuff.
no,
So
no, and I'm
um
sure at you know, at whatever point they were to work together, you know, if anything happened, I'm sure Tony Khan will welcome him back with open arms.